So for the kitchen, while we were on our little test trip, I did a lot of thinking about it. What I was looking for was what's the most optimal way to arrange it. I wanted to have like a cupboard door on the front and some shelves inside and so on, so stuff could be stored. Now the back of the fridge has to be vacant for airflow. The top of the fridge has to be vacant for airflow, although I'm a little generous here, but it may get propped up a little higher depending on what I do on the floor in terms of, I might come up with some ingenious way of actually balancing the fridge without having to balance the whole van. So I've got the gray water tank, which is actually a drinking water tank, and I have my drinking water tank, which is definitely a drinking water tank. And at one point Jenny was suggesting, if you got two of the green ones, wouldn't you be able to arrange this more optimally? And that just stands out geometrically as yes. But then I'm sucking water out of the blue tank, and the taller and skinnier it is, the less you will miss sucking out of the bottom. And when I mentioned that, she said, oh yeah, of course, so you got to stick with that. Now where I've put this, it's wedged very slightly under that 2x4. Putting it here just kind of uses up a lot of the space very eloquently. You've got the trap coming out of the drain and the sink. You've got the two bottles, which kind of use up most of that space. You've hidden away the drinking water in a place that's not very convenient to use as a cupboard. Possibly I could put a shelf on top of this. My other option I was considering was raise up the green container so that it was pretty much touching the trap, shorten the drain hose, and then have space underneath it. The problem is that at the bottom, I have to pull out the blue container to slip it out where it's just beautifully wedged behind that 2x4. That thing can't move. What I'm thinking seriously is that I'm going to cut a very tiny amount, and it's like 1/4 of an inch out of the bottom of that 2x4 so that the blue container can just slide out. And then I rely on the actual cupboard structure to hold the bottles in the galley when we're driving. That's currently my preferred method. Assuming we do that, we've actually got a reasonable amount of space here beside the green container all the way up to the top. And then Jenny asked that I have a little door here so that we could put cutlery in here. It's just about the right shape. Well, it's about twice the size of what we need for cutlery, so that's great. I'd also thought of shortening that 2x8 because it's awful overkill for that. But you can't go really close to the underneath of the stove anyway, so I can't do a lot with that. So I'm thinking I might actually leave that exactly the way it is. So I've been working on building out the galley, and I ended up taking the side off, trying to put in a partition that I'm building to go between the sink and the stove right to the floor. And the reason being, it's going to hold the gray water tank up this end of the space underneath. The blue water tank will go behind it against the wall. And then it allows me to have a cupboard underneath and a bunch of shelves to the other side of it. The only way to get it in, given that it had to go with a piece that went up either side of that 2x8 and also had to wedge itself up against that 2x4, plus go wider.
What did you do today?
Well, you notice the galley?
What is this?
What's what? That's a vacuum.
Oh,
You notice the galley? Much of it's missing.
oh.
I've been working on it. I'm waiting for a fitting to finish the plumbing. So it had to stay. I'm partway through that.
Oh, part through this.
That's the compartment over the batteries.
I see you did the step.
What do you think of the step? Now, there's some things about it you may not have thought of. When you cook, you stand here. And you can't be like 14 inches up with your head on the ceiling trying to cut veggies. Well, that's true, but so I thought if we're storing stuff here that comes out when we make a meal, then those just lift out of there and you can still walk here. What do you think?
I can't stand here anymore. So I have to use that piece. But you fixed it.
So the idea was that piece there, if you took the stuff out of the trunk, you could take the two boards away and you can still stand there.
No, I wanted this part you're gonna store something.
Oh.
At this part we're gonna store something.
We'll see.
And
anyway,
I'm probably gonna cut here. You did this.
So no, I didn't actually. This is what I cut out to put the sink in originally. And I just put it back in for fun to see what would happen and said, well, a little bit of sanding and it's kind of perfect. Even has the little hole to pull it out. So then this piece comes up, but because I'm missing a fitting, we have no water yet.
It's already a week past after vacation. What have changed?
Not a lot.
But I see this one.
So this is the box over the battery. We can hide a few things in there, but it allows us to put stuff on here.
And also I can sit there.
And it reclines. Oh, yeah. And so the seat can lean back a little further than you need it to for driving. Oh, and I cut out an access panel here because this, when you turn it on, gives you 2 USB ports here. And it also gives you access to this, which is the AC input for charging. Oh, the whole bed's in.
Yeah.
Here's where you got what's left for you to put your pot. I think it'll only hold the soy sauce. In the end, I couldn't actually put it in without taking this side off, but what amazed me was the galley's not all that insecure, just sitting here with one leg in the front and the one board at the back. And in fact, you can see I took out a support over here because the sidewall is going to connect things. And so I've got the accumulator and the water pump are screwed in. I'm missing a fitting here that takes an elbow and goes straight down to the floor where it'll be sucking water out the bottom of the blue container. I discovered something interesting about the diesel heater, the way I've installed it. With this cover over the exhaust pipe, this big vent here to let air out, it actually is getting drawn by the air intake over here. And so you actually have airflow through that compartment, but it also means I'm drawing slightly warmed air into the heater. Don't know if that's good, but it's coming over the exhaust system, so if there's a minor leak, it immediately diverts it up into the living area. I'm considering doing the exhaust system again. I want to orient the heater differently so it doesn't blow on the fridge. The heater's there and the fridge is there, and it doesn't actually divert the air up completely. So if I turn this 90 degrees so it sends the air forward into the living area, the exhaust has to be redone. So I've got parts on order. I'm thinking that I'll also try and make sure it doesn't draw the heat out of that area around the exhaust pipe. This piece of scrap lumber, which should be properly viewed from this direction, I found I can cut a piece out the middle to use as a shelf. So instead of this whole thing being thrown out, which was my plan, I actually get to rescue it out the middle. Yeah. So what have we accomplished since last time you inspected?
Oh!
What are you looking at?
The drawers.
No. Okay, you have to pull hard on that one. I'd grasp it either side. That's a temporary latch because I didn't realize that it probably doesn't need a magnet. That's the cutlery cupboard. Okay, push, pull. That's a cupboard.
Uh-huh.
That's leftover space above the gray water tank, and that's the gray water tank.
So the bottom I can
And the bottom I'm waiting for more hinges from Amazon so I can put a cupboard down there. And then I have to do this column here. This stilt's gonna come out, and I just put a white board beside the fridge. And this little gap here will get a little bit bigger. And if you look in the back there, you can see the edge of the blue drinking water container. So we'll be going back to that part. And there's a little bit of space in the very back. I don't know if we can use it. Now, so you pick this up. So, and you can shut the door, and it works.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a little pin at the back there to give it a little more support if you're going to cut on there. And you see there's a cupboard there.
So you can pull there.
So that one, it's a little harder. Yeah, pull it out. It's a little harder to use, but the gray water or the drinking water container comes out of there, drags out, and then we can fill it.
I'm gonna sit here.
Oh, this is from last time. You still like this one, eh? One of the other things I did right here. Do you remember the stove that used to make tinkling?
Yeah.
There's no tinkling anymore when you bang those, because where they attached under here to get gas, they would bang against. They were loose and they would bang against a gas fitting. So I put some Teflon tape on it, and now it's dulled the sound.
That's cool. And
So-
this one, you can...
Okay, so pull that out. I haven't figured out where you put it. So you can bend the tap up. Turn it on.
Oh! There's water.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it goes into the gray water container.
You're sure it's not going to the van?
I'll tell you what happens if water spills. If water spills, you get a little river down that step there.
So it's not going to go in.
So, well, you'll know that water came out. But right now it's going in the gray water container because I know the hose is going in there.
So this one, again, just pull like this.
So you can just hide that away to make a bigger counter for food preparation. So now you've got all that, and when we pick up the bed and put the table over there, you end up having basically as much counter as at home. Oh, and when we picked up the van, you said, where's my kitchen counter gonna go? Oh, and now you've got tons of counter.
I do. That's not easy, huh? For that, just a little
I
door.
measured that. It should have been perfect.
So right now what happened? Why is it not perfect?
Oh, because this thing's too close to the edge, and then this won't close because the thing gets in the way.
Oh, no.
Oh, I measured that so carefully.
This is the daily life of all
Yeah.
Dave.
Okay.
Fix everything in the
Do
van.
it twice.
And this is Kaya's daily life. Just stay with dad.
And make sure she understands what's going on in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then it's all acceptable.
Hours stay
Scare
with your
off any
dad.
dogs that shouldn't be walking there.
Doesn't want her to go in the house. Just wanted to be with your dad. Yeah, somebody's
She
walking their
permits
dog.
quite a bit.
Oh, Kaya,
Evidently not that one.
no barking. Good girl.
I know you're doing that. No, no. Kaya, no. Go back. Come.
I can't find it.
No, I don't have it. Just the one. Just the one. Okay, so let's review the Galley since I've made some changes. Well, that was after I moved the diesel heater vent, which meant repositioning the diesel heater and then implied doing a whole new muffler system. So I've positioned this cushion where it will go if the bed is actually laid out. I just don't have all the boards in or the centerpiece. Just to illustrate that we had to make some compromise. We wanted a big bed and we wanted a big galley. So the galley and the bed intersect a little bit. But it does mean that someone's feet come all the way out here into halfway into the stove if they want to. I guess that's me. I'm the tall one. So let's take a look at the galley. The other half of the plumbing system is the gray water tank. This just happened to fit better in terms of designing a cupboard system all around it. So we have this little guy down here. Oh, there's a pot in it. This little cupboard just uses up this bit of space. What I had done was I raised the gray water tank up until it was pretty much touching the sink's trap. Well, you wouldn't be able to see the trap, but we have stuff in here too. There's the rest of the trap. So we have a shelf that goes back to the trap. And I haven't put a back on it because when I'm installing the gray water tank, I actually have to feel back and guide the hose into it. It doesn't quite go in automatically. So this is the cutlery drawer. We tend to use chopsticks and a couple of spoons and a knife, and that's about it. There's a cutting board and a big spatula that are in a different place. Anyway, the big beam at the back of this basically is, the sink is behind it and is actually quite deep, so it fills up that space. This is just a main beam for stability. It looks like I just sort of decorated in the place where the stove sits, but no, it's this is actually a cupboard. We'll be able to stuff some stuff in there, I'm sure. So I actually built it that way. And there's an end on it so that when someone's using the bed, I haven't covered all that in because the feet could theoretically end up in there, but I did cover up that little bit there because there's already the 2x8 coming out that far. And it had to be there to hold up around the stove. Otherwise the counter would just split. So down here, this cupboard, other than you can see a bit of the gray water tank sticking halfway into this cupboard, and there's also the support beam that comes out from the beds to steady the galley that's there. However, all of this space here was freed up when I figured out how to get the 2 water tanks hidden where they are. So that's our food hamper stuffed in there. And then this one has a pot at the back, but the rest is empty. There's still some empty space there, and we're not sure what we're doing with that. I may put a door on it, but keep in mind that half of it gets full of mattress. So if there was a door, it would only cover half of it. So I don't know, that may just get left open and it's just somewhere to stuff stuff while you're cooking, but you can't drive with anything there. If you look back here, you can almost see the plumbing system. There's a pump, there's a accumulator, there's some pipes. There's also the propane hose going up stove, and there's electrical wiring for essentially 3 different elements. The pump, the stove, and the fridge. So the fridge fits very nicely in here. There's a gap above it. I've got cord stuff there because it's not plugged in. That's all required. That venting is required because it gives off heat, and it doesn't have a fan, so it needs lots of free air circulation. So then that leaves us with the bed. We built that as a shelf to put our feet on when we're sitting at the table. It also can store stuff. However, if we want to remove it all we end up with is a couple of supports, and we can walk the full length up to that end, which I believe we do because Jenny likes to put the table up against the wall there and have an even longer kitchen counter. It's raining this afternoon. We needed to make a mod to this wall where, okay, that Jenny's clothes closet came down. And I'm extending it so it's the full length, and that's going to be all our clothes closets and maybe even some food storage. It's really crappy day, so we got out the kettle and the International Delight, and we made tea. Well, okay, when I say we, one of us wasn't involved. She's just happy. Oh, Kaya. She's just happy that she could actually come out here and supervise. So I had the heat on, but it got too hot, so I had to turn it off. I'm charging all kinds of stuff because the solar panel on the van is better than the one on the shed. So I've got like the mower battery and the drill battery are charging right now. And I still have all that drinking water. It keeps going below 0, so I can't have it hooked up to the tap, but I did fill the kettle. It's too huge. We are working on redoing cabinets. So the cabinet on Jenny's side of the van has now been extended. And I used a different approach this time. The previous time, because of all the bumps in the ceiling, you couldn't have the door swing up. It would hit the back of the van and so on. So I'd made a half-size door and it folded down. And the only problem we had was that to store stuff in the top half of that cabinet was a little tricky. I tried a new approach on this one because the ceiling is flat there. So I put a little roof up there and was able to hinge it. The only downside on this design is that the door doesn't stay up on its own. You have to hold it up to get in there. There was going to be, it was going to go right to the end there where the bottom board ends, and the lights there would have had to come down. And then I got this brainwave to actually put the vertical on the end of that cabinet right there, and then just leave that as a shelf. I'll probably put some kind of a guard around it. The idea is it can have, I don't know, spices, bottles, stuff there to be used when cooking. So we'll see how that works out. And I left the beam there above it with the idea that we can do a little more building there depending on what we decide to keep there. So I've taken that last wall behind the driver's seat. I put the leftover insulation from the back 2 walls. There was strips of it, and I've put that on and finished off with a little bit of Reflectix, and then put the vapor barrier over. And I'm going to put a board on it, just like in the bedroom section. I had finished off the last wall and put the the board there. Also, I'm working on the very last cupboard. We're not doing floor to ceiling. We really like the space all this time that's been not built. So I'm building an 8-inch out, not a foot like the other ones. It comes out 8 inches from the wall, and you can see all the wiring comes in here, and it's all going to concentrate over at the far right hand side, and I'm going to put the fuse block there.
You're very happy today, so what you got?
Oh, I got this. This is our battery monitor. It even has an iPhone app to get even more screens.
So this is what you installed there?
So this is the fuse panel with all the wiring hidden behind, like you asked.
Oh, okay.
So then this becomes a place we can put iPhones and other stuff to charge, and then we can like shut the door. And then I have another panel going up over here.
Yeah.
Which is right there.
So that's what you're working on.
And that's what I'm working on now.
Okay.
And it is going to have all of the stuff that displays. So we've got the diesel heater, the battery monitor, the switches for the fridge and the pump, and then the radio is here. And it shows the time. No real way to do that, unless I would have cut a hole here to reach in and stuff stuff in. And put a shelf here. I don't think there's an answer. Unless I cut that down there and make this, put a roof up there and then open that one out. And then I could have a shelf. Such a small little area. I think we'll just stuff stuff up in there on top of everything else if we have to store stuff there.
So me and Kaya, we're just...
You're helping Dad do
renovation,
right,
we're
Kaya?
just lying on the bed and watch Dad's doing something.
Something.
I think it would be hard to pile things up there because if it's not clothes and it's like kitchen stuff, what I can pile?
I stack food neatly, but you have.
Oh yeah, I can stack a
like
dry
boxes.
food.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, stack dry food up to the ceiling.
Yeah, and then like and also like bread, we don't have to put it in the fridge.
Stand
we can
it
put
upright.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, we always have the choice at any time to take that off and redesign that part. This is obviously fixed.
Yeah. Oh, it took it off.
Yeah, you didn't see which way I was screwing, eh?
No.
Oh.
I thought we were...
I figured there's just no other way that I can put a square up against this edge.
Oh.
So outside it's a dreary day. I'd run the diesel heater for a while to warm it up when I got started. And Kaya and Jenny came to join me. So today's project is continuing on with the solar cupboard, or the electrical cupboard. The right half is, which is less than half of it, is electrical, and then the other part will probably be dry goods, food, pantry sort of thing. And I'm just putting screws in the uprights, and then I have to attach the button to keep the door shut, and then put the door back on, which will involve having to move Kaya to get it. She's now sleeping on it. Oh, it's 20 degrees. The heater is working quite well. Oh,
Did it work?
well, that's awful close for first try.
See, for me, I just take all this for granted. Because I just thought, oh, it's easy.
Yeah, you were coming home from work and I was touring you through.
Oh. Then I just didn't think that you have to draw a hole.
Oh, you didn't go to drill any holes. Oh.
No,
okay.
I know you're gonna draw, but it's just not like I think about it. I just like, oh yeah, it's there.
I'm sure that professionals are like 10 times as fast as me.
You are not carpet.
I'm not a carpenter.
Carpenter.
I'm not a carpet either. But I do think that method of taping it is pretty ingenious for an amateur.
No, I don't know what you're taping.
I'm taping this thing in and then trying it. If I like it, then I just drill right through the tape, take the tape off and screw in the screws. I've been finding a lot of these supplies I buy, they don't actually seem to have the best screws. I mean, those ones sit up a bit. And then the little lock thing hits them.
I don't know what it...
I countersunk that hole, and the idea is that with the screw in it, it should be just a little bit flatter.
Oh. Oh, it worked.
Yeah.
It's the first time I'm trying to help.
Hope this does it. Okay, so let's see if that happens to work.
So I gotta put it
Let
down?
it down. Yeah, pretty much working.
Why
It's
is
a
it...
tiny bit tight compared to the others.
Oh.
Okay, that's better. This is not one of the more fun gadgets you put in a camper.
I thought you were gonna just screw it on. Oh, not screw it on, just tape it on.
You mean like self-adhesive tape?
Yeah. I guess that's not right, because when you dry it with something, it could fall.
Yeah.
So this box is measured the size?
Box? Which?
This.
No, it just organizes them in order of size.
You measured.
That was when I held them up to each other.
I thought you used a measure. Oh, this is too small. This is too big.
No, I just knew that it was too big, and the other one I could see was obviously wrong, so it had to be the one I settled on. It's level.
Oh, cool.
Ah, we used to went by the markings on it.
So then?
I thought of mounting a battery charger back here. I'll just let it on the shelf. Okay, I guess what I should do, just for the fun of it, is to start something charging.
That's your phone.
There. There. And we can charge while we're driving.
Oh.
And we access the stuff charging at eye level, not like in the Kia, where it was down under the bed.
I know.
Remember, I kneel down on the driveway and stick my head up and look on the charging shelf. So it seems the final task, other than the floor, was to put Reflectix blinds on the vents. The way I did that was to Velcro it to the mesh. I'm having a little trouble getting it to stay. So what I did on this one was I put Velcro around the edges and in the center. And this one sits much better, so probably I'll have to do that in the other one. So the idea is that in the winter when we're not, when we're sleeping, we have to put the blinds up not just on the windows, but on the overhead fans to stop heat escaping.
All the things I'm looking for. With all these things I'm going through, I still wish the best for you. You're not the only one to love. There's plenty more under the sun. You'll find the one you need. Reach your door.